Everybody loves dads, stories, and the Marine Corps. What could be better than Marine Corps dads who tell stories? Here's another story with veteran storyteller John Sugar Jr., a Marine Corps dad.
Tonight we're going to tell the story of the Cookie Dancer.
The Cookie Dancer?
The Cookie Dancer. Once upon a time, there was an Indian tribe, and they lived in the middle of the desert. And in the middle of the desert, they needed rain. They needed the rain to come in to water their crops and water the buffalo, and so the Indians would be able to live there. And so the Indians, when they wanted there to be rain, they would go outside and they would do what's called a rain dance. And so they would go outside, and they would dance around. They would wear these big headdresses with all these beads and these feathers, and they would have this little drum they would beat on, and they would have little maracas or something, and they would dance around and try to summon the rain from the Great Spirit. Well, one season, they needed rain. But the Indian chief was feeling kind of sick that day. And so he told his son, go outside, dance for rain. And so the son said, yes, father. And so the son went out, but the son wasn't very good at rain dancing. And so the son started dancing, but he was kind of weird. He was like, hey, and nobody knew what he was doing. They just saw him up there. And they thought he was weird. And then something hit one of them in the head. Ow! What was that? And he looked down at the ground. It was a cookie. The Indian looked up. He looked back down at the cookie. And he's like, hey, tail feather, come look at cookie. Tail feather came over. He looked at the cookie. Something hit him in the back of the head. Ow! Another cookie. And all the Indians went, oh no. And all these cookies came down out of the sky. And all the Indians started running. And they dove into their teepees as cookies started hitting the teepees. Whap, 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 whap. And all the horses were like, Meow. And all the buffalo were like, Merk. And they started running. And the guy who was doing the cookie dance didn't even know he was doing a cookie dance. He's still going, and these cookies kept falling and hitting all the Indians. And the chief went out and he was like, stop! He was yelling at his kids, stop it! And so the kids stopped doing the cookie dance, and the cookies stopped hitting all the Indians. And the Indians just looked around. It's a lot of cookies.
They can eat all that.
Let's forget this ever happened. You know why? Because the next one they would have had to do would have been the milk dance.
Oh no!
And none of them knew how to do the milk dance. And you can't have all those cookies without a milk dance.
No.
And that's the story of the Cookie Dancer.
But, wait.
That was another story with John Sugar Jr., a Marine Corps dad. Check the show notes for links to his Patreon and website at creativegrumbles.com.